Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
The presentation of today's racing program is a copyrighted broadcast of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated. Any rebroadcast, recreation, or retransmission of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of the New York Racing Association, Incorporated is strictly prohibited.
Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, please stand for our national anthem. And they're off. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to beautiful Belmont Park on opening day of the fall meet. Sunny skies, temperature in the mid to upper 60s. The main track is fast, the turf courses are firm, portable rails are up, 9 feet on the widener and 18 feet on the inner. And here now the changes for today's 10-race card. In the first race, there are no changes. A couple of scratches in the second. Scratch 5, Favola, and 6, Fried Rice King. Scratch 5 and 6. Note that number 8, Make a Stand, is 1 pound over. There are no changes in the third. The fourth race is the Miners Mark Stakes, and no changes there. Race 5 will begin the Empire 6. Scratch number 1, Flattering Eyes, part of an entry. Scratch the 1, Flattering Eyes. Race 6, no changes. In the 7th, scratch 5, David's Gem, and 11, Burnin' Through Gold. Scratch 5 and 11 out of the 7th. No changes in race 8. In the 9th race, scratch number 7, Solitary Gem, scratch the 7. And in today's 10th and final race, an equipment change on the 2, Supply Cider. He'll run with blinkers on the 2. A couple of changes for the 10, Bricko. He'll run with blinkers off and cheek pieces on. Blinkers off, cheek pieces on, number 10, Bricko. And scratch 13, Kingfish, through the 16 open lengths. Scratch 13, 14, 15, and 16 out of race 10. Fast and firm here at Belmont. And we'll be coming back at around 12:30 to recap the changes. Today's first race post is at 1 p.m. Up next, the opening day edition of Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, and welcome to Talking Horses. We are at Belmont Park. It is the opening day here at Belmont Park. I'm Andy Serling, soon to be joined by my man Anthony Stabile. He is to my right. To be a bit of a short show, so we're going to get right to work today. Of course, we are sponsored by Saratoga Water. We want to thank Saratoga Water for continuing our sponsor at Belmont and Saratoga for the next year at the very least. Go to Naira Bets. You're not a member. NairaBets.com. Match 200. We will match up to $200 your initial sign-up of your initial deposit for your initial sign-up. Join Naira Bets. Support racing in New York. Also want to mention, be covering, of course, Churchill Downs as well as Belmont Park to this week and next week on our races, America's Day at the Races show. So bet $50 at least each at Churchill and Belmont Park through the app and the app only, and you'll earn a $10 bonus as mentioned. My Talking Horses partner, Anthony Stabile. You're sitting what's normally my seat. A little bit of a mix-up this morning, but Anthony, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you.
Okay?
Yeah, everything's good. Everything's good. Should we talk about today's card?
Sure.
We are probably going to have to end around 12:15, just so people know, and we'll go straight through today's card. Race number 1. The horse with experience in here is the number 3, Jade Empress. And normally, the horse with experience, especially when trained by Bill Mott, would be very much in the forefront of our picks, especially Anthony's picks. I don't love the race this horse comes out of, to be honest, and it's hard to believe there aren't at least one or two better firsters in this race.
Yep, agree. A little bit of a slow time up at Saratoga, going the 3/4 and 112 with some change. And quite frankly, she has the race won here and snatches defeat from the jaws of victory, gets re-rallied on by Fifth Risk. Yeah, I mean, she ran well enough, but there is some buzz about a couple in here, including the number 1, Zayn Al-Arab.
Well, as some will remember, the number 1, whose name I won't try to pronounce, this horse was entered on our card on the 29th, the original Travers Day card, and when the deluge came, this horse was scratched out of that race, and a lot of buzz about this $1 million first-time starter for trainer Chad Brown. A first foal from this dam. Good family, too.
Dan was good.
She was okay. It's more the second family that was better.
The word freak was bandied about this filly.
Are horses ever freaks that people say are freaks? It's usually about 1 in 50.
Furiously.
Furiously was no freak.
In the beginning, he was.
He was no freak.
I'll
tell you who was.
Lore.
He was no freak at the beginning. Well, he did set
the track record here.
I'll tell you who was a freak first time out. That Stan Huff horse that bombed the Champagne in his second start. The horse was scratched the gate at Saratoga, then won his second start by 10
Sweet
lengths.
Cat?
No. He was
A long time ago?
Yeah, 1997. 1997. Then ran the Champagne, sped to the lead. Someone will text me and tell me the name of the horse, and folded badly. And that horse was freakish first time out. Anyhow, so it was good. What about Exact for Todd Pletcher?
Yeah, the other one, Daughter or Competitive Edge. Those were the two. For me, right now, and there's plenty of time, obviously, they're the ones taking the bulk of the action. I would imagine if the hype is followed along, Zayn Al-Arab will be under even money when all said and done.
And Exact is from his third foal from a dam who the first 2 foals really did no running. One was okay on the turf, actually ran an 80 buyer on the turf. And the 5 Treasure Lane is a half 2. Carrera Cat, the speedy New York bred. That one goes out for Shug McGay, taking a little bit of early money. Race number 2, an interesting race in a mile. You're going to the number 3, me and Mr. C, one of 2 horses for Mike Maker. This one is off the claim.
Yeah, first one off the claim, getting a rider switch to Jose Lascano for this first start. A little bit of a drop as well. Didn't love the trip this horse had last time out, hoping for a little bit of a better go for today. I'm going to single Chad Brown's firster in the first leg. I'm going to use a handful in here. Those 3, 3, 8, and 9, but I landed on Me or Mr. C. I thought this one would be the best price of the 3 horses I picked, but according to David, I'm wrong.
Yeah, this was not impossible. It did absolutely no running whatsoever last time, and as much as I respect Mike Maker, I'm not sure I love a horse that's claimed from Ned Allard, who does such a good job, though obviously I have this one second. I have the Maker horses 1, 2 in here. A couple of things. The Ortiz brothers are serving suspensions, and I believe will be riding pretty shortly, maybe next week.
Joel Rosario as well,
Joel's serving, couldn't ride today, and then he's serving a day suspension, so he'll be back on Sunday for Joel. People are wondering where those riders are for the first few days here. I think Javier's and Junior are serving suspension starting on Sunday or something. It's kind of a weird situation. I prefer Doubly Blessed, and I want to show some of Doubly Blessed last race, a horse that you've left out of your top 4. Doubly Blessed is behind horses here, and I disagree. You know, David seemed to think this horse's trouble was its own doing. I was reading what David Aragona wrote. I didn't agree with David. I think this horse got completely trapped behind horses, and when wanted to make a run, was just completely and totally blocked. And the other thing I don't think was this horse was particularly comfortable being inside of horses, because he wants to get outside here and can't. Door kind of shuts. He has to sort of duck towards the inside. He's turning his head, and it just seemed to me like Doubly Blessed was never able to get comfortable. So while being pushed out of any sort of contending position, was never able to get into a comfortable spot. I want to give this horse one more chance for Mike Maker in a race where I just feel like he never had a fair chance to run.
Quick turnaround as well, less than 2 weeks back off of that effort.
Well, he didn't get a chance to do too much running in that race. Gravitas is the morning line favorite, and he figures to be the speed in here. I'm not a giant fan of this horse. I don't love the race this horse is coming out of. I mean, they're just sort of okay.
I don't disagree.
I'm not thrilled with this horse. Well, you have this horse fourth, actually.
Yeah.
The 8, Make a Stand. I didn't like the race that Make a Stand comes out of, and it's funny, I was talking about David. David likes this horse, and I respect David's opinion a lot. I don't like Make a Stand in here.
Okay.
Thought that field was much, much weaker than these. See how things play out in race number 3. Number 2. Race number 3, I know you and I agree in here. I'll tell you something about this race. I would have picked the 1A Ruvies in Time on top in this race, and that's who I like more than the 1 Cape Cod Diva. But because of the presence of Cape Cod Diva, instead of getting 6 to 1 or more in Ruvies of Time, I'm going to get a very, very short price because of the entry, so I have absolutely no interest in picking that. And another example of how entries hurt horse players. And I know there's occasional scuttlebutt from people about wanting more entries. I have no idea how anybody ever wants an entry. I think we all want to be able to bet on the horse that we like and not get lumped in with another horse.
If there's a declared rabbit, that's a different story.
Well, nobody seems to be able to figure out rabbits other than horse players around here, but that's another story. Ruvies in Time is interesting to me, but not at that price. The entry with Cape Cod Diva. I don't know what to do with Hetty G, the favorite in here. A horse we both have third. We have the same picks here. I'm not overly interested in this race because what's happened with the entry. Hetty G obviously can win this race off her good effort, but she's a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And we both have a third in here. I don't know what happened 2 starts back. Last time, Kinky Socks was, I believe that was 3 in a row, or 2, at least 2 in a row, maybe 3 in a row for Kinky Socks. I think
it was 3 good performances. Okay. She might have been second in one race. I'm not sure.
This filly just, she runs a race and she's been at the level already, and I'm just wondering if, the droppers, horses like Cape Cod Diva, you like the other part of the entry, Revision Time, the horse that we landed on, Miss Lyanna, who's a little bit of a drop as well. I think I just want to side with the droppers in here.
What do you like about Miss Lyanna?
Well, I have to think that the way this race is supposed to set up, coming out of those Belmont Park races with Kendra Carmouche, I know Appletini's on the outside, but she's faster than Appletini. She's just supposed to get in front of these horses, no?
Anthony, she's not faster than Appletini on Pluto, on Venus, on Mars, on Mercury, on Jupiter or Saturn. Even Uranus, she couldn't outrun Appletini unless that one falls to start.
I mean, I
you
think
got to
this
stop,
also going to
Anthony.
be
She's not
intense
even
here with Kendrick. No, I mean, what's the plan supposed to be?
She's not even to sit behind Appletini. She couldn't keep up with Appletini unless Kendrick was whipping and driving out of at the gate. Would you like that stat? Would you like her to do that? Anthony, come on, man.
Okay. All right.
Appletini's fast. You know she's fast.
Yeah,
You're trying to get a horse that's. I'm going to tell you something. Miss Lyanna, she's not faster than Hetty G. She's not faster than Ruvies in Time. She's not necessarily faster than Tis a Kitten. You're trying to get a horse to be in front here that isn't even one of the top 3 or 4 of the speeds in
She
here.
won't be laying worse than second to Appletini.
Anthony, you're wrong about this. You're wrong.
All
I thought she was interesting. It was like she's faced some better horses in her races.
That filly
and I
she
was
ran against
looking,
the last 2 times, she'd be we wouldn't be able to bet on her in here.
I am a little worried that she won't be able to get it done without the lead. I took her at a bit of a price. I kind of like Gentilani in here, but I don't really know if she's good enough. But I do like the rider switch in Gentilani. I probably should have higher, and if I knew you were picking Miss Lyanna, I'd have thrown Gentilani on top. I like the 1A, but I can't pick a horse.
I
that's
thought
gonna
about
be
putting Gentilani on top, too.
Third the
I really
price.
did.
Silly. Race number 4, the Miners' Mark. I want to make a joke about these long-distance dirt races we running, always getting 4- and 5-horse fields, but I'll refrain from that. You're to blame, and Rocketry will hook up again. I said this about Rocketry before just about every race he's run in quite a while. He caught lightning in a bottle 2 years ago and looked like he was going to be a serious dirt marathon horse. He no longer has any will to win, this horse. He looked like a lead pipe cinch turning for home in this race and hung like a chandelier. I'm not sure why You're to Blame was as far back as he was and got sort of shuffled out of the running. Probably should have won this race. He's the better of the two. Rocketry might win with less distance, but he just doesn't want to win anymore. Anthony.
He hasn't gotten better. He hasn't gotten worse, really.
No, he's gotten worse.
Well, in about 15 months. No. Since that run 2 years ago in the fall of 2018, he'd be 1-9 in here.
Yes, if he ran like he did in 2018,
yeah,
I would take him at 240
right.
in this race.
But
I agree with you.
That horse has been gone for a
240 be an overlay.
Yeah, that horse has been gone for a very, very long time at this point.
It's very strange. He
It
looks
is
so
very strange.
good, and it's unusual, and he runs okay, but he just doesn't have any of that finishing verve.
There's no kick.
You know?
There's no kick at the end. He used to have that last 5/16 of a mile run where he threw up a 29 last 5/16 and just ran by you.
Yeah.
He doesn't have it anymore.
The problem that I had is neither one of these horses feels like particular winning types
They don't win anymore.
They really don't. Now, I think You're to Blame is way the horse to beat. I wanted to go in a different direction. However, I didn't fall, hit my head on the floor, and wake up in a daze and pick Danny California.
Okay.
What's going on here?
Listen.
He's what?
He's won his
He's
last two with the
impossible
mile and an eighth. How is he impossible?
Even out of the Noda barn, where I believe anything is possible, I don't see how this horse could possibly win.
Okay.
And I'm going to say something else, Anthony, and I know that you looked at this, and you can lie as much as you want, but he's got a very low Tomlinson for the distance.
First
of all, he's too slow. So you think that he's going to get significant...
Hold on a second. How could you assess that he's too slow going a mile and a half when he's never been
maybe
beyond
if
a
you
mile
had let
and
me
an
finish,
eighth?
I would have said he's significantly too slow to be effective in here unless you somehow believe he's going to get a lot better going a longer distance. What about him suggests, because of Fleet Alex won the Belmont?
You're talking about his... Listen.
His races, he's last in here unless the turf horses can't run. Okay,
and I think there's a really good chance that the turf horses can't run.
Good luck to him. He's going to need every bit of that Noda power. He's going to need all the Noda power to get him home.
But you just made the case for two horses that don't win anymore in Rocketry and You're to Blame, and two turf horses for a horse that's won his last two starts for a barn that's been on fire.
I'm going to say something about Counteroffer. Counteroffer actually ran in some real dirt races, a couple of races, and while he didn't run significantly well, what he did was he ran every bit as well as he was running at that time on other surfaces. And now he has improved. Wow, welcome back to Belmont. Now he has improved on the turf.
Well, he's been gelded. He has never run on the dirt as a gelding.
Maybe.
I don't know if
you want to try it first, or should I?
What?
Gelding to see if it makes us better. Okay.
I'm a hard pass.
Okay. He's improved as a racehorse, and I just thought, you know what? They once got aggressive in the dirt. He didn't run that badly relative to his other form at the time. I was looking for a horse that was kind of interesting, and I prefer him. And I don't understand why he's 8-1 and Petit Fee is a much shorter price. To me, Petit Fee is just a total guess. Now, I know some think the Dubowis and Maki, who's the sire, was a Dubowi, or could be an effective dirt sire. I've heard this discussion from a number of places. And listen, Chuck Lawrence and Matt Scher are sharp guys. He's a complete wild card. He hasn't lifted a hoof, and his turf figures are reflective of a horse that was in good races, not a horse that ran a step.
He has some synthetic form over in Europe. Maybe David lowered his line over a Counteroffer.
Well, I know David likes this horse too, and maybe he's right. You know, he's using a similar approach that I am. I think my horse just has a little, at least he has the dirt races to go on that he could handle the surface.
Okay.
We'll see. Funny race.
It's a funny race because the horses that are going to dominate the tote board just don't win anymore.
Yes. Perhaps we'll run one of these route races with more than 5 horses one day. That'll be like a cause for celebration. We'll get like a blimp to go on the track.
I love distance races. I wish we had a
I
few
do too,
more runs, but I love distance races.
But they're going to have to draw more fields to keep running them. Race number 5. Okay, I've been waiting since my favorite lunatic on Twitter made some ridiculous statement that your horse... Let me ask you a question. Banker's Beast at 8-1. Do you think she'll be lower or higher?
Lower.
Why? What is anybody going to like about this horse? Why did she get... She stinks. She's dropping. She's dropping for a reason. She can't run. She's done absolutely no running in her 2 races.
What about... She kind of took a little trouble at the break last time.
No,
she's going to be on a lead.
No, she didn't. Here we go. Actually, if you actually watched it...
I did.
She actually didn't. It was very, very mild.
She's going to be on or very close to Beleza today?
You didn't watch it because if you did, you would have seen that she did not have significant trouble.
I didn't say significant. I said she...
You did. You said significant.
No, I said she got bumped around. I said she got hit a little bit at the start.
No, you didn't. But anyway.
Yes, I did.
Okay, you didn't. We'll go back to the video.
She's going to be on. She's going to be on or close to the lead in here. I mean, who in here do you want to make a huge case for?
I don't want to make a huge case for anybody, but I don't understand the appeal of this horse. I have no idea why this horse got bet last time, and I have no idea why anybody would bet this horse today.
First time for the tag?
Okay.
Sitting off a cushy, if not making a cushy lead in here?
Why is she make a cushy lead?
I mean,
she's not that fast.
What are you going to do with the rest of them? Her and Beleza?
Well, see, maybe she's in front, maybe she isn't. I have no idea who's going to be in front around this racetrack. One guy goes and everybody grabs. I do think it's worth taking a look at the race that Beleza is in because we're going to watch the whole race. It's the number 7 that actually had real trouble with this race. She gets herself in some trouble coming out at the gate, and as a result of that, she's completely taken out of the early running, and it gets worse from there. You keep your eye on her in that red hat and those white and green silks. While Belize's stalking outside, and we'll get to her, she's just getting completely shuffled out of the running in this race. And Cross Keys, a horse who was forward, albeit going a mile in her first start, but in a contentious pace, ends up totally out of it, and she's off the rail. Now, Belize's 3 wide as well. This was a day where the rail and speed were good, particularly the rail. And so Beleza was against the track, but Cross Keys was too. And Cross Keys lost all chance being completely shuffled out of the running. So the horse that I'm interested in is Cross Keys, who I thought ran well enough in her debut going a mile that she could be interesting. And she had a significantly troubled trip both against the track and taken out of the race early. I don't love Beleza, but I'll say one thing about Beleza. She was against the track last time out.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I wanted the horses that I thought were going to be forwardly placed in here.
Your argument's fair with Banker's Beast. She could be in front in this race.
Those are the 2 I wanted in here. I don't really trust the rest of them to make up any ground. Lottie's Mission would be the only other one. Lottie's Mission was against it in the stretch that day. She was wide on a day where the inside was giant.
I agree. No, I didn't think it was giant. I thought the rail was probably an edge that
She was
day.
third off the break.
I would not call that a giant inside. I would call that a slight edge.
She's third off the break, and I thought maybe if this play... And listen, this can absolutely fall apart up front. She'd be the one running late.
It is 7 furlongs. Yeah. You know, that's the other thing. I don't get Banker's Beast because I don't think she has any ability. But I think your point about her going to the front isn't unreasonable. I just don't know what it is. I didn't know what people liked about her last time. So I couldn't understand how she was favored there.
And that's the reason when you said over or under 8-1, I said under because she was 5-2 favorite last time for no reason. I just got to think they're going to bet her again today on the drop.
But she didn't do any running in there.
But she's on the drop. They see the short comment with the trouble at the break. And
what about Impress the Professor, who did a little running last time in his first start and then tried to stretch out to a mile, but now goes 7.
It's been a while now. Looking at
what about Madame Deppy? You caught a sloppy track off the claim for Rudy. I thought you might go back to that horse.
She's the 4th horse for me. Yeah, she's the 4th horse. I'm going to use the 4 of them in the early pick 5. This wraps up the early pick 5 on the 10 race card. In the early pick 4, I'm using 3, 4, 6, and 8.
I am betting Cross Keys to win in race number 5 and playing some exactas. Race number 6, going a mile on the turf. Scarlet Sky is obviously going to be a real favorite in this race, and she should be. Though I will say she got about as good a trip as a horse could get last time out. I know he wanted to get to the outside, but as things worked out for Tyler, this was absolutely just a beautiful trip for this horse who saved ground every step of the way.
Yeah, Tyler Gaffleone, who just won the title at Kentucky Downs, off to a good start at Churchill.
Are we absolutely sure every horse he rode they placed first actually finished first? Just checking.
Very good. And again, the winner of this race, Public Sector, rumored to be a real nice one out of the Chad Brown barn. Yeah, I don't think getting outside would have mattered. He just would have maybe been a little closer to the winner. But he did have a good trip. He's
gonna
another one
win.
gets Johnny, and he
But
can
he's going to
win.
be a short price. I kind of wanted to search for an alternative.
I didn't love any of the firsters.
The one is a funny horse, Space Launch, because it's really a dirt family when you start looking it up. And Bernardini's a dirt sire, and Christophe knows that. So what is this horse doing on the turf?
Mare went 2 for 4 on the turf. She won half of her 4 starts. But I agree, it's a dirt family. I just don't know.
It's right. Victim of Love. I mean, it's actually a really good dirt family. You're right. She did win on the turf, but it leads you to believe that maybe she could have been a dirt horse. And by the way, didn't she also run in the dirt races figures in the 90s?
She did. And she's an awesome again, so that would lead you to believe a dirt horse. I agree.
And Christophe has to know that. I mean, I know, he's Christophe, but he's smart enough. Somebody in that family, Miguel, Valerie, somebody must have pointed out.
But despite all this,
he's running the turf, which leads me to believe this horse can't run on the dirt. So I'm wondering if this horse can necessarily run on the turf, even though I've got the horse third. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's just odd to see them not.
I sit next to you enough that I know exactly what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, it seems odd that they wouldn't try the dirt at least once. Now, maybe this horse
it's a distance thing. Maybe the horse needs a little more ground and the mile race.
That's always
but
nonsense.
there's a mile dirt race I think tomorrow.
And there's also been plenty. There's plenty of sprint pedigree on the dam side.
Yeah, well,
I guess with Low Country for Mike Stidham, wasn't there a Frosted that won for Todd Pletcher at Cerro on the turf?
Yeah,
Am I dreaming that?
Closing day maybe, the wire horse from the inside.
I don't think it was closing day. It was closing weekend.
Closing weekend.
The dam was all turf. She won 3 of 14 starts.
Taboo.
She was at the Moor 10 times. She has produced a turf runner, a couple of them, even only won one, ran well on the turf. So I guess with this one, I wanted to sort of sandwich them around the 7, who's the horse to beat.
We have the same 3. We looked at it kind of the same way here, 1 6s and 7s. I put McLovin
what about,
4th.
What about Honorable, who's entered for the turf first time? Or was he? I don't think it was an MTO. It's not really a turf pedigree, though.
No.
But Todd is kind of dangerous in these spots.
Yeah. And in a race that has 6 firsters, at least the horse has some experience.
Race number 7. I know this was a very, very hard race. I want to look at the Big Wonder Red Mule race. Big Wonder keeps running races that are good enough to win. He just doesn't win. And Red Mule, frankly, is another horse that doesn't win. This was a race where the speeds ran 1, 2, 3 around the track, though.
Yes.
And they lost to Wild William.
They lost to Wild William, who you liked that day, who got in front and kept on going. Look, it's a race where you just said it best. These horses, just a Big Wonder, 1 for 28. Red Mule, 1 for 12. This race is just littered with horses. You go from the top down, starting with Big Wonder, 1 for 28, 1 for 12, 1 for 65, 1 for 34. You get the drift here. Everybody's had double-digit defeats except the 9, Kilronan and the horse I put on top, the 1, 3.99. These horses just don't want to win. That's why they're in for the 2 life, and they've been in for the 2 life for a while, most of them.
What do you like about 3.99?
He's just improved in every start. And if he takes another step forward, he's only run 3 times against a bunch of horses that have run more than 3 times. And if he takes another step forward, if he takes the same step forward, it puts him right there. He has speed. He's running against a bunch of horses that don't want to win. At the very least, he's disappointed less than the rest.
You must love Disciplinarian tomorrow. Did you pick him in the last race tomorrow?
How am I going to pick? He's 0 for whatever he is. No, I didn't pick him.
So you like him in this spot, but
it's a completely different beast here, Andy.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Why is it not?
Because he's got the rail and he's got to go, and you know that Louis Cardenas is going with Big Wonder. One thing that Louis Cardenas does is he goes.
He goes.
It's one of the reasons that he's a good jockey.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to go. So what position does it put him in against a much, much better field?
Listen. Like I said, I'm kind of betting this horse on the come. I don't think he's going to be 4-1.
Maggie would still like you if you didn't pick the horse.
I don't understand why I'm going to get such harassment for this horse. Who are you going to really make a case for in here?
Steve just made fun of you. I'm just letting you know. Steve just
make fun of me all you want.
By the way, why isn't what was the horse that we wanted to remember the name of the horse earlier in the day that nobody texted me the answer. Somebody on Twitter must.
The Stanley Huff horse?
Yeah, the Stanley Huff horse. Is it Call or something?
Who?
No. That's Stan Huff.
Caller ID? That was like 88.
No, it wasn't Caller ID. Somebody maybe tell me on Twitter. I got to look. Now I'm annoyed. Now I'm dying to know. I don't like this horse at all. Good luck. Listen, I hope I'm wrong. I always want to see Tom do well. I just didn't get that horse at all. I'm going to take a shot with Kilronan. I was afraid you might pick Kilronan because he was on your radar.
I thought about it. I liked him. When did I pick him? 2 back?
This is not my kind of horse, obviously. I don't like these turnbacks. But I don't want to blame Nick Juarez as much as I'd like to blame him for the ride and trip last time, because actually the running line is really more of a function of where they took the calls than what happened. He kind of got into a tough spot. Actually was trying to rate this horse off of a couple horses, and if you watch, 2 horses made premature moves. It's that old thing when you're stalking behind and the other horses bring you in the race prematurely. So this is a horse that really got caught between a rock and a hard place in his last race. But he actually ran pretty well in that race, considering how contentious the race got, especially mid-race. I don't love this horse at all. I don't love turnbacks. But I went through it, and I'm like, I don't like the horse to the inside. Big number, whatever wins. Red Mule's another doesn't win. I don't like this horse. I don't like that horse. And I know that Our Troubadour isn't impossible in here.
No, he's not.
I do like him returning to a turf sprint. I don't think that 78 figure 2 races back is held up to scrutiny for other horses in that race. He can win. I left him out. I'm just taking a new face and taking a bit of a shot at a price, and I thought it was a very open race.
Okay. I blame you.
I just, because I don't like horses that are short prices in here. I don't think the 1 or 2. The 2 can win. He never does, and I don't like the 1 as much as I hope I'm wrong. All right, race number 8. Race number 8 is a tricky race. You like Jewel of Arabia?
I do.
What am I missing?
I don't. What do you mean by what do you mean by what are you missing?
Well, I don't think this horse has a prayer.
Oh, obviously. You didn't put a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, there's significant speed in this race, and she's really a horse that's been effective forwardly placed. I thought she was coming out of a much weaker field, and she's going to be a short price. Do I think she could win? I guess there's a possibility she could win.
I thought the speed helped her cause.
Really?
Thought she just...
Because she's been so effective rating off horses in her career?
Well, she's never rated off horses.
So you're taking horses as a favorite that's never rated.
They didn't go fast last time, and she just sat there and waited to inherit and galloped home.
She sat on top of a slow pace.
Yeah.
Against a bad field.
So you don't think a faster pace is going to help her? Just sitting off of them?
No, I don't just assume that horses that have been forwardly placed in moderate paces or with a bias 2 races back and, lost eloquent speaker who's okay.
You can't bet her off the race 2 back, but last time out, I thought she improved leaps and bounds. And
okay, I don't like this horse. So you and I are in a very different place here. I mean, listen, maybe I'm wrong. She is the morning line favorite. I thought this horse was a great bet against in this race.
Wow, and I thought she was a pretty good lean today.
Okay. I disagree. I think she's running against horses that have proven to be faster than her in general. Maybe she'll take another step forward for Christophe, but at a short price, I'm willing to bet against that.
Okay.
We'll see how it plays out. Let's look at the Let Me Take This Call, Fierce Lady, Good Credence race. I guess the problem with the one Let Me Take This Call is that none of us believe, with all respect to Jimmy Ferraro, that he's going to get this race to run as well as the horse ran for the Notice.
That's one, but I think more importantly is last time out, she was able to shake loose.
The pace was fairly contentious in there, to be fair, Anthony.
But
this is 2 races back.
When you combine, right.
I do want to talk about the DQ, because Good Credence ran. Sorry, Anthony.
Okay.
Sorry, because we're going to show that head on the stretch. That Good Credence. Fierce Lady, who I wasn't a fan of last time, it's not clear that she wasn't going to be making a real run at the end, because she did get completely cut off in the late stages.
Yeah. When you
and she draws outside after continually drawing inside.
Yeah.
Well, that has been a problem. I'm sorry, Anthony, but this is the worst Fierce Lady who kept drawing inside, and now she's outside, so she can stalk and make her own trip
I
today.
was just really impressed with how Jewel of Arabia was last time. When it comes to Let Me Take This Call, 1, she's not in the Nota barn anymore. Number 2, she's got to deal with a horse and baby Boss, who is the horse in this race who has races that would bury this field.
Well, what happened to her
just
last
don't know
time
where they are anymore.
Against Cheaper, she was awful last time.
But she's the speed of the speed in here. She's faster than Let Me Take This Call.
No, I agree. She's fast. I agree. And I think this pace is going to be moving.
Yeah.
I like Prairie Fire. Prairie Fire actually ran 2 races back. She made a big run in a race that did not fall apart in any way. Linda Rice, first-time blinkers in the dirt with non-maidens. I thought the stat was interesting. Last time out, this horse just got completely lost early after sort of being bumped a little bit between horses at the start. She just took herself out of the race. It's a significant rider change to Jose Lezcano for this race. She gets pace to run at. And Prairie Fire looks like a horse to me that is quietly improving and is going to be a square price in a race that should have an honest pace.
He won a couple of races. Jose did aboard her over the winter at Aqueduct. In fact, a week apart. He won a couple
slower
of races with her. So, yeah, certainly familiar with Prairie Fire. If you believe this race is going to, if they're going to hit up front and there's going to be some pace and move along, this is the horse for you.
I want 7 6s and 3s in this race.
Okay.
You like the 4? I do not. Race number 9, going 1 mile and a 16th in the inner. I had a lot of problems with this race, Anthony. A lot of trouble with this race.
I did not.
Well, of course, you just picked Belmont.
I like this horse a lot today. This is the horse I want to bet on the card today.
Okay, so we'll take a look at Eye of the Soldier and Lashara coming in the stretch last time, and you'll explain to me why you like Eye of the Soldier so much today,
So
having nothing to do with Belmont.
Two starts off of this October layoff now. She's run identical races, and what I mean by that is she makes up ground and passes horses, and when she gets to the last one, she stops. She doesn't stop because of distance. She just doesn't finish the job up. I actually talked to Junior Alvarado about this. Asked him if he thought it was distance. He said he thought she needed some blinkers. She gets the blinkers
today. Is that
today.
what they always say, though?
No. It's not what they always say.
90% of the time.
Knowing that there's intent with blinkers on a stat that is dirtied up. Belmont first-time blinkers, the numbers are horrendous. We talk about this all the time. It's almost like a desperation move. In this instance, and I don't.
Almost this one, it's almost not like a desperation move.
I think this is being done with a purpose. She runs like a horse that needs a pair of blinkers. She gets the blinkers today. Look, she's kept some good. Duopoly is on a path to be a nice horse for Chad Brown. Watez is a knock-around stakes horse.
Here's the problem, though. While she was compromised by a race in a turf course that the paces were holding together last time, she was also on the inside, which was the place to be, and that helped her. She got a wicked pace to close into 2 races back. Now, Watez, who beat her, is actually pretty good, so I don't knock her for that. I think she ran. Listen, I think she can win this race, too. I'm sort of kidding you in here, and I do prefer to Lashara. I would like to see Lashara be aggressive, and maybe Johnny will, but at the end of the day, isn't this the horse that's going to be in front in a race that doesn't have much pace? And I don't really love horses in here. We'll take a look at Una Luna's last time out behind Silver Kitten, who was on a bit of a rush down at Gulfstream Park. I know we haven't seen this horse in a long time, and no, it's Merckton Cantor Mossy. He doesn't have the great turf stats, but isn't this horse have the earmarks of another Luis Saez horse that's going to wire the field, and you're going to go, I cannot believe I let Luis Saez wire another paceless race.
Yeah, 8-month break here. We'll see if how aggressive.
But Louis, you know that Louis is going to put this horse on top.
You do.
His intention is to be aggressive. Jeez.
You do.
Is that a hurricane moving through?
I wonder what. Actually, it is Sally. The remnants of Sally that we're getting the win.
I don't absolutely love this horse, but I am in no way leaving out Luis Saez in potential own speeds in races that have absolutely no pace whatsoever. And I think you have to admit the potential lack of pace works against your pick and my pick.
I think if you don't have a strong opinion in here, you can make a case for a handful. And Una Luna is probably the best case you can make if you don't like, namely Eye of a Soldier, for the simple fact that she's going, that with Luis Saez, she's going to get an aggressive ride. And in all likelihood, she's going to be on a loose lead in here. I don't disagree with any of that. I just have a strong opinion on
the problem is that you're taking a horse that lacks speed, and I am too in Mary's France. Now, I did find a stat for Graham Motion for what it's worth. His foreign shippers. Now, when I looked this stat up, I was thinking a lot of them seem to be layoff horses. So I looked up horses coming off of 2 to 4 month layoffs, like Mary's France's, and he's actually 4 for 11 with 8 hitting the board and a 4.10 ROI. So he's arguably done better with a small sample with short horses. So it seems like his Europeans run. I don't know anything about this horse. I have no idea if this horse is any good whatsoever. I just guessed whether I thought she'd be a fair enough price. I'm concerned with a lack of pace near, so I'm going to use Una Luna. I am absolutely using your horse, Eye of the Soldier. I don't agree. I think Lashara can win this race. I'm not. I thought it was a very tricky race. I didn't like Windfall Profit. Of the horses that might take some money. And what about Kelly Can Run? If she wins, I'll be screaming if I didn't.
Well, I know you'll have insanity insurance.
I don't know
on
if
Kelly
she's good
Can
enough.
Run.
I just don't think.
There'll be a $20 bill on Kelly Can Run.
No, there won't be. She's also
no insanity insurance.
She's also pace dependent as well. And there's just better horses in the race. she was running in race where I don't think she was running against as good horses. I think your horse is a better horse than the horses she's been running against. I mean, I don't have a knock on your horse except for the fact that she could be hurt by a lack of pace. Race number 10, speaking of pace, let's take a look at Brico, who might actually, in a meet where nothing seemed to go wrong for Jimmy Bond, this was one of the most epic hang jobs of the entire
Amazing,
meet.
right? How does this horse get beat from here? Right now, how much do you want on Brico? How much? Everything?
Yes.
Every dime in your pocket, right? I mean, it's an amazing meet. Like you said, Jimmy and the team had an amazing meet. You know what the funny thing is? They're going to take the blinkers off today of a horse that just got a little, I don't even know what happened last time.
Sorry.
I don't know what happened. You?
What happened to who?
He just didn't finish the job.
He's a hanger.
Yeah.
Anthony's a hanger.
So I guess you take the blinkers off to let him see what's happening?
I don't know. He can win the race. I have no idea
He's
why.
the kind of horse where he can win.
What?
We're never picking a horse like this.
Other than Belmont, what do you like about Self-Made?
Well, aren't his 2 races on the turf just faster than the rest of these field?
No.
Except the 10?
No. They're not faster just in time for Wines, races against better horses.
Hold on a second. Just in time for Wine, that was a while ago.
Well, but
Are we sure that he can replicate that form anymore?
I don't know. I thought his last race was fine. I thought he actually ran fine. He runs his last race, he's going to win this race. I think if Just Diamond Wine runs his last race, see ya.
I think he's a little bit of a trap because they're going to see the rider change.
Anthony, 6-1
no
morning.
shot.
Oh, yeah?
No shot.
You watch. There's no way this horse is a short price. The rider change, because Kendrick Carmouche is that noted turf rider. What are you talking about?
They're going to see the rider change, and they're going to. And I don't think Mike Leslie did anything wrong. I'm just telling you, they're going to see the rider change.
I didn't say Mike Leslie did anything wrong because he didn't do anything wrong.
He didn't do a thing wrong. That's horse.
Let's agree to disagree and end this silly discussion. Is Self-Made impossible here? No, he's okay. He seems like the 3rd likeliest winner in here. I didn't really have a strong case for a lot of horses in this race. I think they're telling us we got to go.
They played us off. Yeah.
Yeah. Hear the music.
I didn't hear the music, but the proverbial music is playing, my friend. We'll have more time tomorrow.
Okay. Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, head on over. NairaBets.com. Anthony, I'll try to catch our breath. We will match up to $200 your initial deposit. Use the promo code MATCH200. What else?
50-50. Friday, Belmont, Churchill, $10 bonus. You got to bet it on the app only. $50 at Belmont, $50 at Churchill, both on America's Day at the Races, which comes up in a matter of moments at 12:30. Steve, what's next?
Nothing is next.
Oh, that's it.
By the way, the horse's name, and it was Futurity, not the Champagne, where he bombed. It was Rodeo. Rodeo.
Yeah.
Was it Rodeo or Rodeo?
That was the bigger debate. He was fast.
Yeah, he was fast.
Remember Big Blue?
Yes. Did Rodeo ever come back as a 3-year-old? He was a sire, right?
I think he wound up in California.
We got to go. You're done with us. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you, man.
Don't miss America's Day at the Races, 12:30 to 6 today. Acacia and I will be right up here to kick the day off. The whole crew is here. Greg Wolf, Richard Migliori, and Maggie Wolfendale.
You never threw it to Johnny I for the scratches?
Because we're not throwing it to him.
Oh.
Thank you.